Can you tell us, question number 3?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a student you may have had that had a particular impact on you as a teacher?
There's so many that I cannot answer that.
You've probably worked with hundreds of people.
Thousands.
I can answer that one.
Okay, great.
So I remember the first student I ever had, and this is going to sound silly to say it's a student. I was a first grader, and my elementary school created a program where first graders taught kindergartners how to read. And his name was Matthew. I can still see his little face to this day. And it was the first time I'd ever tutored. And I'd watched my mom tutor, and I was like, maybe I'll be good at it. But I remember I was trying to teach him his spelling words, and immediately it clicked for me that I was like, this is what I want to do.
I remember.
And I was teaching him to spell the word chandelier, which right now seems wild that was one of his spelling words, but it was definitely it. And that was my first student I ever had. And since then, I knew that I wanted to tutor. I knew that I wanted to be in education. And I hope Matthew's doing well if he sees this. I don't remember his last name, which is probably good. But yeah, he was my first student, and he's kind of started that love of education in me.
Okay. Question number 4. As a math student, I wasn't even weak. I was just poor, or as the young kids say, trash.
Trash. Oh.
And to paraphrase Chris Rock, once I got to algebra is where I really fell off, because once you start putting letters and numbers together,
It gets fancy. Yeah.
I was gone. As tutors, do you have any advice to me? Because I've always just said, math just isn't my thing. But if I were to take a math class, where would you start, or what would be the advice you would give me?
Oh, well, first we would encourage you. We have to
Don't do that.
All that.
Don't do that.
Don't encourage you. We will start with a math assessment to see, where you were, your strengths and weaknesses, and then we would concentrate on those strengths, and we would start with those problems first to show you where you are strong in math and how well you really can do in math. So we would have to change your whole mindset. We'd have to reframe how you think about math. And then we will work with you one-on-one. And, I'm actually not the math tutor for adults.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yes?
Yeah. I think math gets not a bad rap because it's hurt a lot of people. But I do think that a lot of people are like, I'm just like not a math person. And I think it means like you haven't been encouraged to be a math person, right?
I agree.
And I think practice is really important. And making people feel comfortable. So especially with adult learners, I try and talk to them to see what are the ways you actually do know math, right? Because we use math every day in our lives. Like you're probably confident with money, or you're confident with whatever, something. And trying to break down that stigma that people have built up where they're like, I just can't do it, because you can. Right? Mm-hmm. Every time my kids say like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I give them something that I really struggle with. So I am really not good at speaking languages. Like I probably have to work 8 times as hard. And a lot of our students here speak Spanish fluently. And they always say, oh, Miss Jade, Spanish is so easy. Like, wait. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like, what advice do you give? And they're like, well, are you practicing? I'm like, no. Right? And like, well, are you trying? I'm like, no, not really. And they're like, well, why not? Right? And it's the same thing for them. So I always think that like, if you have the encouragement and resources, you can get there, right? It just means kind of starting over and forgetting some of the lessons that are not your fault that you learned. But really just like trusting and working with your tutor one-on-one is usually our advice, and putting some faith in us.
Okay. All right. So here is question number 5. And we're reminding you we're doing 5 questions today, live from the home office. Today is Tailored Tutoring, 800 Black Horse Pike, West Collingswood. I wanted to say West Collingswood West, but West Collingswood, New Jersey, Heights, New Jersey. There you go. And this is your 5th question. Very simple. What is the greatest children's book ever?
I have mine. Do you have yours?
I know yours.
You know mine? What is mine?
Is it something about Christmas?
It's Tiny Bear's Christmas.
Yes.
It's Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
yes.
It is. Okay, well, it's Tiny Bear's Christmas by E.B. White, who was also a really famous grammar writer as well. And I don't know if it's a solid book, if I'm honest, if it holds up. But in first grade, I checked it out every day I could from the library. Every single day. And then one time, and I remember his name, I won't say it 'cause it's very unique, but he checked it out before I could get it. And I was distraught.
It was the end of the world.
It was the end of the world. And I was like, how could you ever do that to me? So actually, for one of my birthdays, my parents got it for me. The original Tiny Bear's Christmas.
Do you still have it?
I do.
Okay.
I said I should bring it to this office. And I don't think it's a good story necessarily, but I remember it being really imaginative and creative and being about animals. So that's probably not the best book review, but at 6, that was fire for me.
Henny Penny. The sky was falling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Chicken Little?
No, Chicken Little. Thank you. Chicken Little. Chicken Little. Okay, Chicken Little. It's been years. And do you know Chicken Little, Raymond? The sky is falling. The sky's not really falling. I feel like I've been Chicken Little so many times in my life.
Yeah,
but anyway, I can always think back to that book when you think in terms of anxiety, etc.
Oh, that
Chicken
is a really good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ladies, how can people? I'm sure my listeners and my viewers are going to enjoy this. How can people get in contact with you here at Tailored Tutoring? That's 6 questions, but but that's important. Also, if there's anything I didn't ask you that you want to include, now's the time.
Sure. So you can find us on social media. Our Facebook is Tailored Tutoring LLC. You can find us on Instagram and LinkedIn as well, both Tailored Tutoring LLC. You can call us here. It's 856-662-7230. Or you can email us, info@tailoredtutoringllc.com. Or you can come visit us at 800 Black Horse Pike, West Collingswood Heights, New Jersey, 08059. The address that's going to haunt Raymond for years to come.
And we live here.
Yeah, and we live here.
Yeah,
and I think
we're always here.
The one thing we want to include is just thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you to the entire community. Thank you, Raymond, for thinking of us and doing this
promoting
interview. We appreciate it.
Very sweet of you, Raymond. Keep listening to Raymond's work because he is doing it up. And
Yes,
we
he
really
is.
appreciate you.
Helping the entire community.